Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am KHADIJAH from Group 7 and today my group members ZAINAB ZUHAIRA KHAIR, NURUL ASHIQIN, NURULAIN AFIFAH, PUTRI ELLYSSA ADREENA, AHMAD HUSSAINI and I will present to all of you our topic Maqasid al-Shari'ah or the objective of Sharia. Our presentation today will cover the definition, the categories of Maqasid al-Shari'ah, which are Daruriyat, Hajiyat and Tahsiniyat, and last but not least, the 5 essential needs under the category of Daruriyat, which are the protection of religion, life, lineage, intellect, and wealth. First, I will start with the definition of Maqasid al-Shari'ah. Maqasid is the plural form of maqsad or maqsid, derived from the word qasada in Arabic, which literally means heading towards a direction. Meanwhile, Shari'ah literally means a waterway that leads to a mainstream or a drinking place. And according to religious context, Shari'ah means the divine revelation and knowledge which is only obtained from the Quran and Sunnah. Besides, different scholars define Maqasid Shari'ah with various definitions. First, Allamah Muhammad Tahir Ibn Ashur defined Maqasid Shari'ah as meanings and wisdoms focused by Shara' comprehensively or in most situations of revelation of the commandments without the specifying certain Shari'ah rulings. Second, Sheikh Alal Al-Fasi defined it as the purpose of Shari'ah as well as its secrets set by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala for each ruling. And third, Dr. Ahmad Al-Raisoni defined Maqasid al-Shari'ah as purpose set by Shari'ah for the welfare of people. Additionally, Shari'ah is a fundamental and requirement for the peaceful and harmonious living, as we cannot live harmoniously without having Shari'ah as our guidance. It also leads to the source of meaningful life, which is Islam, that has given by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Lastly, we can conclude that Maqasid Shari'ah has become the standard and reference point in a variety of disciplines, including human rights, economic growth, public governance, political practice, environmental protection, and economy and financial governance. Moving on to the next part, Maqasid Shari'ah is categorized to 3 levels of necessities in descending order of importance, which are the essentials, ad-daruriyat, the needs, al-hajiyat, and the embellishment, at-tahsiniyat.
My name is Zainab BINTI ZAKARIA, and now I am going to explain about the essentials or ad-daruriyat. Our life is not possible without these essentials. They include 5 elements, which are protection of religion, life, lineage, intellect, and wealth. The objective of Islamic rulings is mainly to protect these 5 elements from any harms, because every religious matter is built on these matters according to the priority set by scholars. So, the first essential is protection of religion, or ad-din. Imam al-Ghazali has ranked ad-din as the first among the 5 essentials. This is because religion is the main purpose of the creation of mankind. It shapes our life and guides us through it. There are many ways to protect the religion. First of all, Muslims should observe the ibadah, whether it is mandatory or recommended. For example, Muslims should perform their 5 daily prayers, pay zakah, and fast in Ramadan. By doing this, they can strengthen their iman and ward off evil. Secondly, Muslims can give da'wah by spreading knowledge to others. By doing amar ma'ruf and nahi munkar, they can encourage others to learn and practice the religion daily. Besides, Muslims should carry out the Islamic law or hukum syara', which are guided by the Quran and the Sunnah. These fall under the responsibility of the government of the state, as they have the power to create the law. This is necessary to solve dispute and problem among community. Last but not least, Muslims can protect religion by doing jihad. Jihad is fighting the enemies for the sake of Allah. It is to protect Islam from being destroyed by the enemies. Besides fighting physically, it can also be carried out by various methods, such as in writings, speeches, media, and others.
I will continue to talk about protections of life, which is ranked second in the 5 essential after religion that must be protected. Feast enough if preventing bad things from happening and keeping them alive. What is meant by taking care of the soul is also the whole soul of human being, which includes various aspects that can be seen and touched by the senses, namely physical as well as meaningful elements which otherwise cannot be seen and touched by the senses. The physical includes all the senses and limbs and so on. Meanwhile, the spiritual is the life, mind, heart, emotions, feeling and so on. The fact is that keeping the soul is included in Al-Kulliyat al-Ahkams because religion will not be able to stand up if there are no soul to uphold it. Next way to protect life, Muslims should be concerned for his Muslim brother's life in the same way that he is concerned about his own. According to the hadith An-Naf bin Qais, narrated on Abu Bakr authority, that Allah's Messenger SWT says, when two Muslims fight each other with their sword, both the slayers and the slayings are doomed to the hellfire. None of you should point at his brother with a weapon, because he does not know that Satan make it loose from his hand, and as a result, he may fall into a pit of hellfire by mistakenly murdering him. This prophet hadith make it really clear, even in joking, the Muslim should not use a weapon against his Muslim brother. Hell is created for the two Muslims who are fighting to the death together. There are many ways to protect life. Firstly, Allah allowed Muslims to eat whatever they need to stay alive in darurat situations, which we can see here that man's life is prioritized. Second one is a revenge for the bloodshed. When the killers know that they will be punished, they will think about it 100 times before committing the crimes. If the murder is punished, there will be no more killers to commit the crimes because they are scared of the punishment. Keeping one life is the same as keeping mankind, and destroying one life is the same as murdering humanity. Last one is no threat. Prophet ﷺ stated, whoever takes up arms against us is not from us. Threatening people's life spread a sense of insecurities across society. The Muslim community is one that is safe, peaceful, and stable. Any behavior that jeopardizes that sense of security is prohibited. In the Muslim community, the sense of brotherhood is stressed, and anything that disturbs such feeling is.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is PUTRI ELLYSSA binti MOHD with project number 219778, and I'll be the next presenter to present about protections of lineage. So firstly, al-nasab is derived from Arabic verbal root nasaba, which means to relate, but in our context, al-nasab refers to one ancestor from parents to grandparents, great-grandparents, and it signifies genealogy and also extraction. And nasala means to reproduce and to sire. It relates to the reverse of al-nasab, for example, one descendants from children to grandchildren. And furthermore, we need to know that lineage is one of the most basic human rights that each individual receives from his or her family under Islamic law. And there is three methods that being used in Islamic law to determine ancestry, which is consanguinity, marriage, and also fostering. And according to Islamic law, the most basic freedom of children in the household is lineage. And there is some measures have been designed in Islam to protect the lineage. Prophet Muhammad SAW also mentioned about lineage in the hadith that learn your lineage to solidify your family ties, verily keeping family ties because love among the kinship enrich the wealth and also increase the lifespan. So from this hadith, we know that we need to keep and learn about our lineage because it is so crucial to prevent anything bad happen in the future. So for the first method for preserve the lineage is by prescription of marriage with its eternal stipulation. And as we know that marriage is the cornerstone of any civilization, and it is critical that marriage being carried out correctly with accordance to the essential condition. It also plays an important part in lineage development and also upkeep, because by marriage we can prevent adultery and prostitution, because Sharia governs the connection between a man and also women. Besides, Islam also promotes marriage that are conducted in the decent manner, so that it is a us to keep the family lines back to their roots. And the second method is by we need to acknowledge and recognize one progeny. This is because Islam places a high value on acknowledging and respecting one's origin, as the goal to preserve the family line as unmistakably identified as possible. So anything that will jeopardize it is discouraged or forbidden. When it comes to adoption, the only concern is legitimately changing the kid's name and adopting them so that they become their own child. This action is strictly forbidden since it may lead to additional problem, and it is clear that maintaining a child's connection to their biological parents is crucial. And next, I'll pass to the next presenter.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today I would like to share and explain more about the subtopic of Maqasid al-Shari'ah, which is Hifzul al-Aqal, or protection of Aqal or mind. So I will continue my explanation and sharing today about protection of Aqal or Hifzul al-Aqal. So what it is? Hifzul al-Aqal is a human faculty that enables human to interpret sensory information. This is based on 5 ideas in the Quran, which is Nasiyat, Lub, Qalb, Nafs, and Fu'ad. So the foundation of human conduct, there are 4 foundations of human conduct. So firstly, majority of human psychological process are governed by autonomic reflex and endocrine system. To our cortex also capable of initiating voluntary action independently of any psychological stimuli. This results in human intellect as evidenced in cortical activity, which is responsibility, accountability, and on contrary, animal lack this skill. And lastly, intellectually also help us to discriminate between moral and immoral behavior according to wahyu. Wahi. This is the hadith from Ibn Majah and Bayhaqi about the pursuit of knowledge is a religious obligation for every Muslim. This hadith is supporting about how important the protection of Aqal. As a Muslim, one way to protect Al-Aqal by learning or gaining the new knowledge every day. And Prophet Muhammad SAW outlined significance of education and its central role in the faith, saying, "Whoever pursue a path in search of knowledge, Allah will make it easy for him the path of paradise." Reported by Muslim. So for my last part, how to protect our Aqal. So I got 3 solutions for these problems. For this question, so impact of intoxicant to our Aqal. In the Quran, intoxicating beverages are referred to khamar, which is wines and any alcoholic beverage, has given a broad definition, not just limited to wine. Intoxicant change or impair the intellect, the distinguishing feature of human life. With an impaired intellect and loss of control, a human becomes an animal. So Aqal should be protected from substances that corrupt its verifiable purpose and function. The prohibition on harmful thoughts and ideas includes a ban on contemplating God's essence and thinking like God. This is not the purpose of Aqal. Because of God vicegerent, Aqal should be used for the execution and planning of God's will. And Aqal should be protected by the means by which we recognize our Creator. It is intended to facilitate a closer relationship with the Creator. Self-satisfaction is attained through contemplation of nature and its designer, and these can be accomplished by acquiring new information and skill through formal and informal education. So this is how we protect our Aqal. So we must preserve our Aqal with a good education and knowledge, and we must be far away from other intoxicant things that can affect our Aqal. That's all from me. Thank you. Barakallahu fiqh. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURULAIN AFIFAH binti FAIZAL and my mention number is 2119552. For today, I will continue this presentation for protection of wealth, ALMAL. Wealth protection can be defined as wealth management techniques that assist individuals, families, and organizations in protecting their assets. This is because life does not always go as we plan, and everyone needs to be protected. As Muslim, we know that wealth and everything in this universe belongs to and come from Allah, as mentioned in Surah Al-A'raf, verse 96. So the question is, how do we deal with our wealth accordingly? Moving on to the next slides, these are several ways to protect our wealth. Firstly, the first way is practice charity toward the poor, orphans, and those in need. The faith of Muslim is built on the 5 pillars of Islam, and one of those pillars are giving charity, or known as zakat, as the mentioned in Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 177. The next way to protect our wealth is to not fear of our poverty, and God will provide. As we all know, God is the provider of all in this world. A true believer should have trust in Allah. The last way to protect our wealth is giving your wealth the source of the true prosperity. This is because when someone spends his wealth in the way of God, there is no decrease in wealth. Thus, charity will increases your wealth because God will repurpose it with something greater. So I think that's all from me, and I will pass to the next presenter to continue our presentation.
After the essentials, the needs or al-hajiyat is the second element of Maqasid al-Shari'ah. It is the needs that support the 5 essential interests and to give ease to humans and to prevent hardships. These are the examples for al-hajiyat. First of all, travelers can do jama' and qasar for their prayers, which are combining and shortening their prayers. Then, the sick can also perform their prayers by sitting or lying down if they are not able to stand up. Besides, pregnant mothers are exempted from fasting for their health and their baby's health. When there is no water, Muslims can replace their wudu with tayammum. The ban of selling alcohol is also one of the needs to avoid consumption and concession of alcohol.
Lastly, I will continue with the third category, which is the embellishment, or in Arabic, at-tahsiniyat. So, at-tahsiniyat are the matters which completes or beautify the lives of people, and the absence of it does not lead to hardships, like in the absence of ad-daruriyat or al-hajiyat. However, its presence will lead to a wholesome life. In addition, the purpose of at-tahsiniyat is to seek and attain refinement, perfection, and additional values in customs and conduct of human life, as Islam encourages us to achieve this purpose and to have a better life. For example, reciting dua, wearing perfume when attending the Friday congregational prayer, and wearing nice clothing. These are the things that Islam encourages and consider to be further signs and proof for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala endless mercy and generosity in one's life.
So to conclude, Maqasid Sharia is a crucial element in the definitions of Sharia law for clarification faced by Muslims all around the world. This is due to the fact that Maqasid Sharia is the outcome of comprehensive and in-depth investigations of Allah's revelation writing to mankind. And besides, every Muslim has their duties and responsibility in living a life based on the Maqasid Sharia in order for life to be more secure and also peaceful. And lastly, I think that we need to consider Maqasid Sharia when determining law to ensure there is no conflict with the requirement of Sharia. And that is all from us. Thank you.